I arrange a cluster of sunflowers in the crystal vase my grandmother left me, their bright faces catching the afternoon light that streams through my dining room windows. My blue dress the color of a summer sky sways against my legs as I step back to assess my work. The table gleams, set with my best dishes, a bottle of champagne chilling in a bucket of ice. Everything is perfect for tonight. My eyes drift to the framed certificate on the wall, its gold-embossed letters declaring my mortgage paid in full, 6 months ahead of schedule. 5 years of double payments, no vacations, and countless overtime shifts have culminated in this moment. At 31, I own this house. Every nail, every floorboard, every inch of it mine. The doorbell chimes, sending a flutter of butterflies through my stomach. I smooth my dress, inhale deeply, and open the door with a smile I've been practicing all day. Welcome. The word comes out higher than I intended. My parents stand on the threshold, Dad in his customary button-down, Mom in a pressed floral dress. Their smiles don't reach their eyes. Cambria. Mom offers a stiff hug. The house looks nice. Dad steps past me, surveying the entryway. This neighborhood has really gone up in value lately. Smart investment. Before I can respond, Taryn bustles in with my niece and nephew trailing behind her. Her divorce finalized 3 months ago, she scrutinizes my living room like she's conducting a property assessment. "Where should I put our bags?" she asks, not bothering with hello. "You're not staying the night," I remind her gently. "It's just dinner, remember?" Taryn's lips purse. "Right, of course." I lead them through the house, pride swelling as I point out the hardwood floors I refinished myself, the kitchen backsplash I installed over a long weekend, the guest bathroom I completely renovated. "You did all this yourself?" Mom's tone suggests disbelief rather than admiration. "Every bit," I confirm. YouTube tutorials and a lot of sore muscles. Dad taps at his phone, barely glancing at my handiwork. At dinner, I raise my champagne flute, heart full, to freedom and finally paying off my first home. The silence stretches a beat too long before glasses reluctantly lift. Their muted clinks sound hollow against my enthusiasm. Speaking of homes, Mom interjects before I can savor the moment. Taryn's having such trouble finding a place with the housing market so tight. Taryn launches into her struggles with landlords and impossible rent prices. Dad nods sympathetically, while continuing to text under the table, the blue glow of his screen reflecting off his glasses. "I made chocolate torte for dessert," I announce when dinner plate's empty. "Let me grab it from the kitchen." In the kitchen, I slide the torte from the refrigerator, add fresh berries around the edge, and reach for the dessert plates on the top shelf. A floorboard creaks somewhere down the hall. Strange, everyone should be in the dining room. Balancing the torte, I walk toward the sound. As I approach my bedroom, I hear the unmistakable sound of a tape measure snapping closed. I push the door open with my shoulder. Taryn stands in my master bedroom, measuring the distance between walls. She freezes, mouth open. "What are you doing?" "Just curious about the dimensions," she says too quickly. "For decorating ideas." Before I can respond, another noise draws me to my home office. Dad stands there, phone raised, photographing my desk, my files, my personal space. "Dad?" He lowers the phone slowly, no trace of embarrassment on his face. "Cambria." The torte feels heavy in my hands as I back away. Something is wrong, very wrong. I return to the dining room where Mom sits alone, hands folded primly in her lap. When she looks up, the warmth I've sought my entire life is absent from her eyes. "We need to talk about the future of this house," she says. Moments later, we're all seated in my living room, a family tableau that feels suddenly alien. My torte sits forgotten on the coffee table. "Taryn needs a stable home for the children," Dad says, his voice carrying the same authoritative tone he used when I was 10 and caught climbing the neighbor's apple tree. "The family needs this asset more than you do." "What?" The word comes out as barely a whisper. Mom reaches beside the couch and produces a familiar green suitcase me old college luggage. She sets it upright on the floor with a quiet thump. "We've packed some essentials for you," she says, "just until you find your feet again." They expect me to leave. They expect me to walk out of my own house. "You want me to give you my house?" The question hangs in the air between us. "That I paid for?" Taryn shifts on the couch, her children playing with their tablets, oblivious. "You can start over," she says with a dismissive wave. "I have the kids to think about." Something catches my eye on the kitchen counter. A stack of business cards. I rise slowly, walk over, and pick one up. Lakeside Realty, Janine Thompson. The room blurs at the edges as understanding crystallizes. They've already contacted a realtor. They've been planning this. Without a word, I walk to the front door and pull it open, a rush of cool evening air clearing my head. "It's late," I say, my voice steadier than I feel. "You all need to leave." Dad stands, his shadow stretching across my hardwood floors. "You'll regret this. We're family. We'll be back tomorrow." As the door closes behind them, I press my back against it, sliding down until I reach the floor. My breath comes in short gasps. Their betrayal burns like acid in my chest. But alongside the pain, something else sparks to life. Something with teeth and claws. They wanted my home. They would learn that they couldn't take the woman who built it. Sleep eludes me. Every creak, every whisper of wind against the windows sends me bolt upright in bed. 3 times I've checked the locks, testing each deadbolt with trembling fingers. The grandfather clock in the hallway, a weekend flea market find. I restored my self-chimes 4 times. Dawn isn't far off. I wrap myself in the quilt my grandmother pieced together before arthritis claimed her hands. The living room feels foreign tonight, as if the furniture itself witnessed a betrayal it can't forget. My eyes keep returning to the spot where Mom placed that green suitcase, where they expected me to simply leave. 5 years ago, when I first toured this house with my realtor, Dad stood in the driveway, arms crossed over his chest. "It's too much house for just you, Cambria," he said, not bothering to lower his voice as neighbors walked past. "You'll drown in maintenance costs. Be practical." Mom nodded beside him, adding, "You could rent something nice for half the cost, or stay with us until you're really ready." I signed the papers anyway, my signature wobbling with a mixture of defiance and terror. That first night alone, I sat cross-legged on bare floors, eating takeout by flashlight because the electricity wouldn't be connected until morning. It felt like victory. Now, I pull the quilt tighter around my shoulders. Did they resent me from that first moment of independence? Was this always the plan? In the morning, my phone vibrates against the coffee table. Unknown number. My thumb hovers over the screen before answering. "Miss Lorne? This is Anthony Spencer from Mid-Central Bank's fraud department." My stomach drops. Fraud department? "Yes, ma'am. I apologize for calling so early, but our system flagged some suspicious activity overnight. Someone attempted to add 2 names to your property deed, Marcus and Evelyn Lorne. The request came through our online portal." The quilt slides from my shoulders as I stand. That's my parents. They tried to add themselves to my deed, without my knowledge? "The system flagged it because the digital signature didn't match your pattern on file. Miss Lorne, it appears someone forged your signature." I hung up 15 minutes later with instructions to visit the branch immediately. The sky lightens to pewter as I throw clothes into an overnight bag, not the green suitcase. Never that suitcase again. At the gas station on the edge of town, I fill my tank while scanning the road behind me. The paranoia feels ridiculous but necessary. I half expect to see my father's silver Buick pulling up beside me. The drive home from the bank feels like moving underwater. The fraud specialist's words echo with each mile marker. "This was a deliberate attempt to transfer partial ownership without your consent." She showed me the forms, the poorly forged signature. The attempt was clumsy but determined, like someone who felt entitled to take what wasn't theirs. I park across the street from my house, surveying it like a stranger might. The blue shutters I painted last spring. The new mailbox post I installed after a teenager's car jumped the curb. The rose bushes I coaxed back from near death after the frost 2 winters ago. An unfamiliar Honda sits in my driveway. My key sticks in the lock. Did they change it already? But the door swings open after an extra push. A young woman with a messy ponytail stands in my entryway, surrounded by moving boxes. She jumps when she sees me. "Oh, you must be the landlord's daughter." Her smile is friendly, uncertain. "I'm Brittany Nunez, just moving in today." The floor seems to tilt beneath me. Moving in? Yes, I signed the lease yesterday. She rummages through a canvas tote bag, producing a folded document. Your mom said you might stop by to introduce yourself. Here's my copy of the agreement. My signature sprawls across the bottom, a signature I never wrote. The lease grants Brittany occupancy for 6 months with an option to extend. Aren't you supposed to be moving out today? Brittany asks, her eyes suddenly wary. Your mom said you were relocating for work. I call the police from my car, parked 3 blocks away where Brittany can't see me falling apart. Officer Ramirez arrives quickly, his expression growing grimmer as I explain. This is clearly fraud, he says, reviewing the documents. But evicting her isn't something we can handle immediately. It's a civil matter now, ma'am. You'll need a court order. She's in my house, the house I own. His eyes soften. She's also an innocent party who signed what she believed was a legitimate lease. The law protects tenants, even in cases like this. I'll file the report, but you need a lawyer today. I drive away with my house disappearing in the rearview mirror, no destination in mind until Naomi's apartment complex comes into view 20 minutes later. My best friend answers the door in sweatpants, her Friday work-from-home outfit. One look at my face and she pulls me inside. They did what? She explodes after I explain everything. Her fingers fly across her laptop keyboard, pulling up Taryn's social media. There it is, posted 3 hours ago. A photo of my living room, my furniture, with the caption, "So blessed, our new family home. Fresh start for the kids and me. Blessed, family first, new beginnings." The comments section overflows with congratulations. Someone I recognize as Mom's church friend writes, "So glad Cambria finally saw reason and is sharing her blessings." How could they do this? My voice sounds small, even to my own ears. Who does this to their own daughter? Naomi's jaw sets as she reaches for her phone. Harriet Monroe, she says to me, covering the receiver. Best real estate attorney in 3 counties. My cousin used her when their landlord tried to keep their deposit. While Naomi arranges an emergency consultation, I remember something that sends me diving from my laptop. Last year, after a break-in 2 doors down, I installed a simple security system. 4 cameras with cloud storage. I never disabled them. The footage loads slowly, thumbnails appearing one by one. There they are, me family, entering with the spare key I'd given Mom for emergencies only. Footage from yesterday morning, hours before the dinner. Taryn measured my bedroom with a tape measure. Dad is photographing my office. Mom opened my filing cabinet. The footage from 3 days earlier shows Taryn's children jumping on my guest bed. This will be your new bedroom, Taryn tells them, her voice tinny through the speakers. Naomi sits beside me as we watch the most damning clip, dated 2 weeks ago. My parents in my kitchen, heads bent close together. Once we get her out, we'll sell this place and split the money, Dad says clearly. The market's hot right now. Mom nods. She never deserved this house anyway. I close the laptop. The fear that paralyzed me all night transforms into something harder, something with teeth. I know exactly what I need to do now, I say. Later that day, the leather chair in Harriet Monroe's office creaks as I shift my weight. A wall of family photos flanks her law degree 3 generations smiling from wooden frames. I study a picture of what must be her grandchildren while she reviews my documents, spreading them across her desk like playing cards. Your mortgage is paid in full. Every receipt matches your bank statements. Her voice carries the gentle firmness of a kindergarten teacher, explaining why we don't eat paste. The property taxes are solely in your name. My fingers twist in my lap. They're still my family. I don't want to hurt them. Harriet removes her reading glasses, revealing eyes that have witnessed decades of human deceit. Cambria, what they're doing isn't family, it's a fraud. The word lands like a stone in my stomach. Fraud, a criminal act, my own blood. They raised me, I whisper. And now they're trying to take what you built. Harriet taps the mortgage document. Nobody gets to steal your house, not even the people who changed your diapers. I close my eyes. Images flash. Mom teaching me to bake snickerdoodles. Dad cheered at my college graduation. Taryn braiding my hair before junior prom. How did we get here? We need to stop them, I say, finally, the words tasting foreign on my tongue. After leaving Harriet's office, I spent the afternoon gathering more evidence. I pull bank statements showing 5 years of mortgage payments. I organize home improvement receipts, the kitchen backsplash, the hardwood refinishing, the bathroom renovation, my name, my credit card, my labor. At the county records office, a clerk with glasses perched on her nose prints my property tax history. Just you on the deed, hon, she confirms. Back at Naomi's apartment, I spread everything across her dining table. The security footage from my home plays on my laptop. Dad examined my office, his fingers opening drawers. Mom rifled through my filing cabinet. Taryn led her children through the house, pointing to corners, saying, "Your toys can go here." The final blow comes when I check my email. A forgotten thread from February, Taryn asking for my advice about a rental property she was considering. The attached photos: my bathroom, my kitchen, my bedroom, my house. They've been planning this for months, I tell Naomi, my voice hollow. I haven't slept well since that night. On Naomi's pull-out sofa, I stare at her ceiling, afraid to return home. In my dreams, I stand outside my house, watching my family through the windows, living my life without me in it. My phone buzzes with another call from Aunt Judith. I let it go to voicemail. She left 3 messages yesterday about how I'm tearing this family apart. When I finally listen to my father's latest message, his voice sounds different, authoritative. Cold. You're tearing this family apart over bricks and mortar. Your sister needs a home. You have options, we don't. I deleted it without responding. A knock at Naomi's door startles me from reviewing the legal paperwork Harriet prepared. When Naomi opens it, I see Mrs. Halstead, my neighbor for the past 5 years, holding a stack of mail. "Thought you might need these," she says, placing the envelopes on the coffee table. Her eyes, magnified behind thick glasses, hold unexpected fierceness. "I've been watching them, you know, coming and going from your house when you're at work." I blink, surprised. "You have?" Mrs. Halstead nods, her white hair bobbing. "Taking measurements. Taryn had contractors over 3 weeks ago, looking at knocking out that wall between your kitchen and dining room." My breath catches. 3 weeks ago? You're sure? "Honey, I'm 74 with nothing better to do than watch my street. I'm sure." She pats my hand. "You built that house into something special. Don't let them take it." Later that afternoon, I met with Harriet and Detective Carlos Rivera from Financial Crimes. His notebook fills with details as I explain the situation. "We're filing for an emergency injunction today," Harriet says, sliding papers toward me. "And we need to prepare restraining order documentation." Detective Rivera shakes his head. "This is elder financial abuse in reverse. I've seen parents steal from children, but not often children try to steal a house from someone your age." "They're still my family," I say automatically. "Family doesn't do this," he replies, echoing Harriet's earlier words. The next morning, Harriet and I meet with Brittany, the confused tenant from my house. Her eyes widen as we spread documents across the coffee shop table, me legitimate mortgage papers beside the forgeries my family created. "This is your actual signature," Harriet points out, "and this one isn't." Brittany's hand flies to her mouth. "They seemed so normal. Your dad showed me around, said his daughter was relocating for work. Your mom baked cookies for when we met." My stomach twists. Mom's cookie, sure, signature manipulation tactic. Every important conversation of my childhood happened over fresh baked goods. "Will you testify about who showed you the house?" Harriet asks. Brittany nods, horror evident in her expression. "Absolutely. I never would have. I mean, I'm not part of this." "We know," I assure her, though my trust feels shredded, incapable of extending very far anymore. That night, alone in Naomi's apartment while she works a late shift, I spread old family photos across the floor. Birthday parties, Christmases, vacations. In each one, I search for signs I should have seen. Therage 8, winning the spelling bee. Dad took my trophy to keep it safe. It never reappeared. Another me high school graduation. Mom told the photographer I got my brains from her side of the family. My college acceptance letter somehow became about how they pushed me to apply. The pattern stretches back through my entire life, suddenly clear as glass. This isn't about the house, it never was. It's about control, about ownership, about who gets to claim credit for what I build. I gather the photos, place them back in their box. Something settles in my chestnut piece, exactly. Resolution. The night before our court hearing, Harriet coaches me on my testimony. Speak your truth, clearly and calmly. Naomi helps me select an outfita navy blouse and charcoal pencil skirt. Professional, dignified. You look like someone who pays off her mortgage early, she says with an approving nod. Before sleeping, I kneel beside Naomi's sofa bed. I haven't prayed regularly since childhood, but tonight the words come naturally. Give me strength to stand up for myself, I whisper into clasped hands. As I close my eyes, my phone chimes with a text from Harriet. The court summons has been served to my family. Tomorrow, we face each other across a courtroom. My family wanted my house. They would learn they couldn't take the woman who built it. Next day, I grip the strap of my leather briefcase until my knuckles turn white, climbing the courthouse steps between Harriet and Naomi. Their presence steadies me like bookends, though my heart hammers against my ribs with each step upward. Remember, speak only when addressed directly, Harriet murmurs, her silver hair catching the morning light. Let the evidence do the talking. Ahead, the courthouse doors swing open. My stomach lurches as I spot Themi family arriving from the parking lot. Taryn clutches her children's hands, her face arranged in a portrait of maternal struggle. The kids look confused, dragged into a battle they don't understand. Don't engage, Naomi warns as Dad spots us and breaks away, striding toward me with purpose. Cambria, this has gone far enough. His voice carries across the stone steps. We can still fix this as a family. Harriet steps forward, blocking his path with surprising authority for her small frame. Mr. Lorne, all communication needs to go through counsel now. The physical gulf between us mirrors the canyon that opened the night they tried to claim my home. Dad retreats, his jaw tight with frustration. Inside, the courtroom smells of furniture polish and tension. I slide into my seat beside Harriet, keeping my eyes forward as the bailiff calls the court to order. Judge Winters enters, a woman with salt and pepper hair and reading glasses perched on her nose. The attorney my parents hired rises first, a slick man in an expensive suit who speaks with practiced sincerity. Your Honor, this is a simple family misunderstanding blown out of proportion. His voice drips with reasonableness. The Lorne family had a verbal understanding about this property serving as a family asset. I bite the inside of my cheek until I taste copper. Taryn takes the stand next, dabbing at invisible tears. My children need stability after the divorce, she says, voice wavering perfectly. Cambria always said family comes first. We thought she meant it. Their attorney turns to the judge. Miss Lorne has options. She's young, single, with a good job. Is it selfish to deny her sister's children a stable home? The word selfish burns in my chest. 5 years of double payments, of saying no to vacations, of picking up extra projects for bonuses, all to be painted as selfishness. When Harriet rises, she moves with the calm precision of someone who has seen this performance before. Your Honor, I'll let facts speak for themselves. She begins laying documents on the evidence table one by one. Mortgage statements showing every payment made solely by Cambria Lorne. Property tax records in only her name. Home improvement receipts totaling over $20,000. The courtroom screen flickers to life, showing security footage from my dining room. There's Dad, clearly visible, saying, "Once we get her out, we'll sell this place and split the money." Mom's voice cold and clear. She never deserved this house anyway. A murmur ripples through the courtroom. Judge Winters leans forward, her expression darkening. Brittany takes the stand next, nervously smoothing her skirt. Mr. and Mrs. Lorne showed me the house. They said their daughter was moving out and needed a tenant quickly. They had keys. I had no reason to doubt them. My turn comes too quickly. My legs feel wooden as I approach the witness stand. The oath falls from my lips automatically. Harriet begins with simple questions about the purchase of my home, my payments, my renovations. With each answer, my voice grows steadier. Miss Lorne, in your own words, what happened the night of the 15th of April? The memory floods back, sunflowers in crystal, champagne chilling, my blue dress swaying against my legs. the perfect table setting destroyed by their betrayal. I invited my family to celebrate paying off my mortgage. My voice wavers, then strengthens. Instead, they brought a suitcase they'd packed for me. They expected me to hand over my house and leave. And what was their justification for this? I looked directly at my family for the first time, that the family needed this asset more than I did, that my sister had children and I didn't. Miss Lorne, what does this house represent to you? The question catches me off guard with its simplicity. Truth rises to my lips. 5 years of sacrifice, hundreds of YouTube tutorials, blisters from refinishing floors and installing backsplash, but more than that, my voice breaks, then steadies again. I paid for this home. They didn't just try to take my property, they tried to erase the woman who built it. Judge Winters nods slightly, encouraging me to continue. A commotion erupts from the family table. Dad stands abruptly, face flushing dark red as Harriet presents the forged lease agreement. This is ridiculous. We were trying to help her manage a property too big for one person. Mom rises beside him, her voice arctic. We raised you. You owe us. Taryn joins the chorus. You've always had it easy. I have children. Judge Winters raps her gavel sharply. Order! When silence falls, she removes her glasses, fixing my family with a gaze that could cut diamond. In my 30 years on the bench, I've rarely seen such calculated family betrayal. She turns to me with unexpected gentleness. Miss Lorne, your restraining order is granted. Your ownership is confirmed without question. She turns back to my family, voice hardening. And I'm recommending further investigation into attempted fraud. This court is adjourned. The gavel falls like thunder. Outside, reporters cluster at the bottom of the courthouse steps. One thrusts a microphone toward me. Miss Lorne, any comment about family property disputes? I pause, finding words I never knew I had. Sometimes the hardest boundaries to set are with those we love most. Dad pushes through the crowd, making one last attempt. This will kill your mother, he hisses. For the first time in my life, I walk away from him without responding, my head finally high. At the corner coffee shop 15 minutes later, Harriet raises her mug in a quiet toast. To justice. The victory tastes bittersweet against my tongue. I've lost my family today. Harriet reaches across the table, her hand covering mine. No, dear, you've lost the illusion of what you thought your family was. Tears spill down my cheeks as I contemplate returning to an empty house that is finally, truly only mine. Next day, the locksmith works in methodical silence, removing the last traces of the locks my family once had keys to. Each metallic click and turn feels like severing another tie to the people who tried to steal my life. These are high-security models, he says, handing me 3 gleaming keys. Nobody's getting in without breaking a window. I clutch them in my palm, the metal edges pressing into my skin. And the security system? All set. Code is your birth date, like you asked. Motion sensors in every room. After he leaves, I stand in my entryway alone. The house feels both familiar and foreign, like returning to a childhood home now occupied by strangers. Except the strangers were my family, and they left evidence everywhere. In the living room, family photos still hang on the wall. Mom and Dad on their anniversary trip to Niagara Falls, Taryn's wedding portrait from 6 years ago. The 4 of us at Thanksgiving when I was 19. Smiling faces, locked in frozen moments of what I once thought was love. My hand trembles as I take down each frame, the weight of false memories heavier than the glass and wood that hold them. I place them carefully in a cardboard box labeled Family in thick black marker. The answering machine blinks with 7 new messages. I press play and my mother's voice fills the room. Cambria, honey, we need to talk. This has all gotten out of hand. Your father and I only want what's best for you. Please call us. Delete. It's Mom again. You're breaking my heart with this silence. I didn't sleep all night worrying about you. Delete. Cambria Marie Lorne, this is childish. We raised you better than this. Delete. I yank the cord from the wall and the machine goes blissfully silent. The doorbell rings. My heart hammers against my ribs as I check the security camera Harriet insisted I install. Not my family, Mrs. Halstead from next door, holding what appears to be a casserole dish. I brought lasagna, she announces when I open the door just wide enough to see her. Figured you might not feel like cooking. I hesitate, then open the door wider. That's very kind. Mrs. Halstead steps inside, her shrewd eyes taking in the packed boxes and bare walls. Good for you, honey, taking back what's yours. You knew what they were doing, didn't you? Before I did. She sets the dish on the counter. Saw your sister with a contractor 3 weeks before that dinner, measuring your porch, talking about removing the railing. Her mouth pinches tight. Not right what they tried to do, not right at all. The validation from this woman I barely know breaks something loose inside my chest. They're telling everyone I abandoned them, that I'm having some kind of breakdown. Small minds need big lies. Mrs. Halstead pats my hand. The neighborhood's organizing a little welcome home gathering for you, Saturday afternoon. Welcome home? I never left. No, she says with a knowing smile. But now you're really here, on your terms. After she leaves, I discover an envelope pushed under my door. No return address, just my name in my father's unmistakable handwriting. Inside, a single note card. You'll understand one day. We meant well. My fingers crush the card, rage burning up my throat. They meant well? They tried to steal my house. They forged my signature. They packed my clothes and expected me to disappear. The backyard fire pit, the one I built myself last summer while my father insisted I should leave it to professionals, seems like the perfect place for their final message. I strike a match, watch the flame, catch the corner of the card, and drop it into the pit. As it burns, I make myself a promise. No more manipulation disguised as love. No more guilt wrapped in family obligation. This house is mine. My life is mine. And no one will ever take that from me again. The autumn light catches the fresh sage green walls of my living room as I arrange a final cushion on my new sectional sofa. 6 months have passed since the courthouse steps, since I walked away from the family that tried to claim what was mine. The house smells of lemon oil and fresh paint, every surface transformed by my own hands during weekends of therapeutic renovation. Perfect timing. I call out as Naomi lets herself in through the front door, carrying a tray of appetizers. The cranberry sauce just finished simmering. She pauses, taking in the dining room table I've set with mismatched vintage china collected from weekend trips to small-town antique shops. No crystal vase tonight, no pretense. Cambria Lorne, she says with a low whistle. When you rebuild, you don't mess around. I laugh, the sound still surprising me with its ease. Wait until you see the office. What was once my spare bedroom, the room Taryn had measured for her children, now houses floor-to-ceiling bookshelves filled with volumes on architecture, design, and psychology. My desk faces the eastern window where morning light streams in while I work on the training materials for the financial abuse support group I started at the Women's Center. The doorbell chimes, and I feel none of the flutter of anxiety that once accompanied that sound. Instead, my shoulders remain relaxed as I open the door to Mrs. Halstead, her silver hair swept into an elegant twist, carrying a homemade apple pie. Happy Thanksgiving, dear, she says, squeezing my hand. First of many in your sanctuary. Behind her, Harriet climbs my front steps, accompanied by 2 colleagues from my support group. Their faces light with warmth rather than the calculating assessment my parents brought to this same threshold half a year ago. Welcome, I say, and this time my voice holds steady. An hour later, we gathered around my tablano empty chairs waiting for approval that will never come. Steam rises from dishes prepared with care rather than anxious perfection. The conversation flows without the undercurrent of judgment that used to make family gatherings feel like treading water with weights strapped to my ankles. Before we eat, I say, lifting my water glass, I want to toast to the family we choose and the boundaries that protect us. Glasses clink with genuine enthusiasm, not the hollow sound of obligation. Later, while serving pie, Naomi nudges me. That promotion came at the perfect time. I nod, thinking of my office at Midwest Pharmaceutical, where I now manage a team of 6. Peterson actually said it was my newfound assertiveness that clinched it. Turns out standing up to family fraud makes board meetings less intimidating. Harriet quips and everyone laughs. After dessert, I slip away to my bedroom and return with a cream-colored envelope. The Arizona postmark arrived 3 weeks ago, and I've read the contents enough times to memorize Taryn's tentative handwriting. She apologized. I tell Naomi quietly while the others chat in the living room. Said she didn't see how wrong it was until they tried the same tactic with her new landlord. And? Naomi asks. And I wrote back setting clear terms. I can forgive without inviting the same people back into my home. The evening winds down as fall turns to early winter outside my windows. Standing in the doorway, watching headlights disappear down my street, I feel the solid presence of the house at my back, not just walls and a roof, but a testament to what I've built twice over. Tomorrow, I'll place the "For Sale by Owner" sign in my front yard, not in defeat but in triumph. This house served its purpose, it taught me what I'm capable of defending. The real estate listings for Portland wait on my coffee table, possibilities rather than escape routes. In my garden, under the watchful gaze of bare trees, I imagine myself speaking to everyone who has ever questioned their right to stand firm against those who claim to love them while taking what isn't theirs. They nearly took my home, but they couldn't take the woman who built it. What would you fight for, even against those you love most? As I close my door against the November chill, keys warm in my palm, I know the answer. Boundaries don't make you selfish, they make you free.